So we're back redesigning some sports posters, and I got some pretty cool posters. It's actually redesigned, so I chose some that I felt were like already really good. So I gotta try to do more or focus on the details, which I think you guys can learn a lot from them. So yeah, let's hop into it. Do not forget about the everything pack, the first link in the description, the product where you basically get all of my 32 products for one purchase, and then every other product that I come out with for free via Selfie. You should know about it. So for the first design, we have AM Designs with this World's 2022 tribute poster for DRX. And first things first, really fire. I really enjoy it. One of the reasons why I actually chose this poster, because I personally hate smoke, and it has a lot of smoke. Now, given that though, that is one of those things that I feel like I want to make sure I improve on. So if I were to give this a middle, right? Let's just say these four corners are like the middle. It really feels like everything kind of lives in like this 70% ratio, and the 30% on the bottom is just kind of empty. So I would love to kind of pull most of these things down, right? To see if I can center it and kind of level it more. Now, obviously things I want to keep in mind is the fact that he chose this hierarchy, or they chose this hierarchy, right? This is supposed to be like that first thing that you see, very heavenly, godlike MVP, I'm guessing is who that person might have been, why he's being highlighted. And like a nice smaller kind of group photo to kind of gauge that kind of sense of scale, you know what I mean? One of the things I also consider here though is that everything just sort of feels like it's leaning toward the right. It's very right heavy. There's something that feels like it's missing. They're champions, they're world champions, and I feel as if this feels more like I don't want to sound insulting, but it feels like almost undone. It feels like it's missing one thing, and I'm gonna hold until the very end because I'm curious if you guys can see what I'm saying as well. But maybe you don't, maybe you do. But let's just get this thing going, okay? So one thing I just want to shout out this person. This person goes kind of crazy with shadows and does incredibly well. So I really appreciate your shadow work, and I'm gonna of course use that to my advantage. I'm gonna go to my other document here so I don't mess around with yours. There's a lot of empty layers, so people who want to clean their PSDs really fast, go to kind, go to attribute, drop down on visible, choose not visible, right? So everything that you kind of see on the poster here is already visible. So take all this stuff, scroll all the way down, hold shift, click it, deleted everything. Now this PSD is way cleaner. Look how easy it is, and everything has a purpose on why it's there. There also is a few locked layers. I personally don't want that to be there right now, so I'm gonna go choose all locked layers, and we're gonna unlock them just like so. First things first, I want to deal with, I think, the bottom. We have some form of like cloth. This seems to be like some sort of asset from Worlds of 2022. I'm gonna choose to delete that. I think there's a way cooler idea that we can possibly do. Now, my immediate instinct was like, it'd be really dope if they had like a stage where, like, you know, they're on the stage and everyone on the back is like, you know, all the fans and whatnot all sitting in the stage. That'd be kind of sick, right? Don't know if we can find a photo like that. But what I think we could do is actually build that stage to maybe give us a purpose for this bottom. So look here, I found this guy right here. Now let me just quickly also pen tool this out, and I'm gonna kind of just place this right around here. I want to maintain that feeling of this hierarchy of how big that top photo is and how small these bottom photos are, but I'm gonna make this a tiny bit bigger, okay? I think this glow is nice, but you can see how you lose the detail. It also kind of looks like a very obvious, purposeful, literal glow. I'm gonna just do this really quick now. So always choose like a nice color here, right? You click once, very small on the inside. We're gonna linear dodge add it, make a little bit lower opacity, take another one, and then make that one really big. And this one, you're gonna go linear dodge opacity, or linear dodge add again. Click on the actual layer, Control U, lower the lightness until we make sure we can get that detail remaining in there. Now you get a nicer glow that doesn't feel like a crazy, purposeful, intentional, super obvious pointing at the glow, and it feels a lot more nicer. So I'm gonna keep this here for now, but I'm also gonna kind of start messing with the top for a second. First thing I want to kind of do, look at the shadow work on the bridge, pretty dope. Well, we can make it just a little more depth, so I'm gonna take the actual shadow and just start adding a little bit of love on the insides like so. Make this a tiny bit bigger, bring this down and hit my stage, okay? The smoke is helping feel that atmosphere and feel that depth, so I think I have to, of course, make sure I do that same exact thing. I don't want to fade it out like that here, because it's too high. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to make it bigger. And now I did make the other stuff bigger here, so it shouldn't be like too crazy that I'm doing that. And I'm also gonna bring this down a tiny bit as well. Give it a little bit of headspace, breathing room. The color correction on the actual face is almost a little too dark in some areas. I'm gonna kind of just come into here really quick and mess around with some of these highlights and shadows. I'm also gonna fix this right here. I don't love that there's a black line, so I'm gonna go back into his layer mask, bring this back to where it should be. Oh, that's a little bit too much, but I think it's okay for now. Pen tool accuracy. Look at that. You guys wish. You guys wish. Look at that. Oh my Lord. Who am I? Look at that. Who has a smoother hand than me? I'm also feeling like I should also remove some of this acne, because why not? We can just take a nice little Pratch tool. We're going to take it and just move it to a nice cleaner area. And I fix some of this redness that's happening. So I'm going to bring in some sharpening a little bit, just enough until we get a little more, I don't know, sharpness, right? Bring in some of this contrast in there. So that we have this orange background going on here. So I'm going to take this and make this a little bit more orange, not a crazy amount. And I feel like that did something. I'm going to get rid of this for a second, or I might lower the opacity. Well, this is basically a LUT that he put on. I enjoy it, but I do think I'm going to customize it more to myself. So I'm going to turn that off for now. In the background, we have this stadium. We have 2 stadiums here. And I did a little bit of research. DRX beat T1. And given that I did it inside of the Chase stadiums, this is this Chase center, I guess he has. I'm gonna make sure I kind of add this where, like above this? Yeah. So I don't really need to see Chase. I'm just more or less making sure the actual structure feels like it's present. So to do this, what I'm gonna do first really quick is I'm gonna add a little bit more color correction on the top, okay? There's a little bit of curves. Make this bridge stand out a tiny bit more. When I say a little bit, kind of aggressive S-curve. Now that I feel this looks pretty decent, I enjoy this here, but I don't wonder if a better blend mode's available. Hard light's good, but you can see that we're kind of losing a lot of the highlights. If I put this on vivid light, the highlights come through. And I really enjoy the fact that we maintain that depth. So I'm actually gonna keep that. Right here, this center, what I'm gonna do is a little trick here. So curves, clip mask of curves, click on the actual adjustment, hold Alt, click on auto, find lights and darks, click on shadow. We're gonna click a nice dark spot in here, something that has like a little bit of this orangey red hue. And then a highlight, I'm gonna click on something right here that feels like it has a little bit of orange, but I can bring it down some. Then when I'll go back to the shadows, I'm gonna bring this even further down. And I feel like if I press OK, press no, and then I'll come over here, making an S curve. Now it feels like it's placed. Like right here, it feels like it's just there. Here, it feels like I place it in like this whole background area is doing something for me. Now, I'm missing the smoke. I'm gonna bring the smoke in for a second. We're gonna go something like this. I think I want a curve though. Let's do a curve. And I'm kind of trying to flatten it out a little bit more, right? You can see how it's kind of flattening it out. I kind of enjoy that. I'm also gonna come in with this brush, take a nice lower opacity brush, take my black brush on this layer mask and click around, just add a little bit of like depth in these areas. Let's go and add in another, like some more smoke. So I'm gonna bring some of these stuff back in. I mean, I can just take this one and drag it below the stage as well. And then I'll bring this up a little bit. We're getting pretty far, right? And I feel like that bottom feels really nice now. They have so much shadow around. I'm gonna take the stage for a second. We can use a curve and we'll drag this curve down a little bit. We're just gonna add a little bit of light right in the middle to keep that focal point right in the middle. This feels nice, but I do enjoy the white borders as well. It's something different. But what I don't love is how thick they are. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna bring this down. And like I said before, I felt like something was missing, just a tiny bit. We're gonna put in champs. We're gonna make this in that nice simple white that we have over here. I don't want it to be too aggressive, but I think something like that feels nice. Oh, this logo can also sit somewhere fun. Can I put it like right here? Ooh, no? That's kind of fire. That texture feels pretty nice. And I kind of want to play with these lines. Now it might work there. It might not. It could work on like a side panel thing. When did this happen to our guy? Hello? I'm not loving the lines. I thought the lines were a play, but now I'm definitely not loving these lines. So I'll do World Champions, DRX, League of Legends, and then I'll add a 2022 in there. That's the year that it was happened, just to keep this font somewhere else, because I feel like it's a little crazy just to use it as like a random heading. I'm also gonna use it as a random subtext as well. I'm gonna go back here, and I need to add some sort of something, like a white glow that I need. You know what I mean? I feel like I need something back there. I think I'm getting nowhere. I think I'm overcooking. Linear dodge ad doesn't look bad though. That definitely did something. And what it kind of did as well is kind of showed the fact that I have no feet. So I'm gonna take this and make sure I erase this glow that's happening so it's not hitting down here. I really like what that did. Oh yes. You know what I feel like doing? Okay, I have one more thing. I got one more thing I want to add. I don't know why. Every time I see like freaking bridge, but there's something about adding a little bit of birds in here. I don't know if this is worth it. Boom. Am I done? So if we look at the before and after, you should probably see there's not a crazy heavy difference in the actual composition, really. This was definitely a focus on the details in themselves and how much improvement you can make, even though if you think a graphic is really good, and I still think, again, it's really good, but I want to, of course, focus my attention to the bottom half where I felt like it just lost that spacing of groundingness. I kind of just felt like there needed to be something there to actually ground these characters to the floor. My solution to that was, of course, using the stage where they actually play, followed by using the same idea of using the smoke to hide the legs, but having a little bit of a shadow in there, just to kind of add some form of like mystery as to like it's not just like completely like just not there. And really, although I really do like the top half of how he actually had this colder color correction, I thought the warmth made a lot more sense with the background being this silhouette sunset idea. So overall, in my final redesign, I just really wanted to focus on the actual design that he created, just having a lot more intent. And of course, I think that was accomplished, but AM Design, you killed it. Now for the next one. So this next concept we have here is by a designer known as 40. And now they actually did, again, I don't know why I'm choosing some of these really cool designs. I just wanted to really figure out and see if I can just make it feel a little bit more, I think the word I want to use is like less flat in some way, or maybe adding more contrast. The more I looked at the graphic, the more I kind of said there's a lot of moments in time where he kind of was designing. Of course, if I kind of get rid of this for a second, they're lowering a lot of the saturation like hue, as you can see. Like this one, like it just took away basically all the color. There's a lot of black and white, and I can't help but feel like we can literally bring this whole entire thing to life, because I really enjoyed the theory of this kind of living landscape, cityscape atmosphere around him. So I think that's what I'm gonna try to do and try to accomplish. The first thing I did do was get rid of this just for now. I think most of this stuff I'm probably gonna just kind of call it. I wanna just see what happens if I try to saturate the heck out of this graphic. I don't know, what the intention to me is when they were designing this, they're looking to try to make this mini world. I want to do my best at making that feel like genuinely like a world, like a mini cool world. Okay, so goal number one is to get a little, like a few more buildings, and I'm gonna go at 6 megapixels. And my goal is to find some buildings that I can cut out and call my own. I don't know, I found a random sign, and I just feel like this would be really cool. I don't know if Pinewood Road is in Philadelphia or not, but if there is, W. If there's not, maybe I can change, maybe I can just change it. All right, this looks like City Hall, so I'm gonna take that one. Okay, I can't lie. These buildings here also look pretty good. Apparently Philadelphia. And I might as well just yoink this picture. This pole is definitely going in here. Look at how perfect, just, that's gonna be perfect. Okay, I want the 3 to have a cool look too. So we're gonna take this, drag it below. So I think something like this looks pretty good. I'm gonna erase the bottom at all times, basically. In my mind, I'm kind of like building a crown, you know what I mean? Like a crown has like, you know, 4 points and whatnot. But obviously, if anyone's like from Philly, you're like, why are these buildings like this? Don't worry about it. I will just be using a gradient like so, and I'm gonna take this same exact gradient and throw this on all the other buildings as well. We're gonna throw this somewhere. Gotta go somewhere. Maybe even like something like this. It also kind of helps covering a lot of the complexity of this building here, which makes these other feel like not as bad, but it is very high up on the canvas. So maybe this is telling me the entirety of this entire canvas is gonna be pulled down, and let's see where that leaves us. For a nice pop of color, and again, I think we could do something with this naming here is what we don't have to keep Pinewood Road. What I'm not sure of is, do I actually want the background to be like a completely different color? I almost immediately feel like it does something. I'm gonna mess around for a quick second though. I don't want to go on the other end of the spectrum of what I didn't enjoy the first time, so I'm actually going to opt in and say, although I do enjoy this and I probably could have a lot of fun, I do want to hold the integrity of this being this white base, because I think it's going to give me at least a closer look to an improvement per se from the original. Okay, there's only one cloud asset that I have in this document, so I'm gonna have to find some myself. I'm trying to figure out how much cloud do I want, right? Because I don't want it to be too small, I don't want it to be too big, and I wonder if the clouds, I gotta kind of mess around with them a little bit to kind of add a little bit of something, or, you know, mystery to these buildings in a little bit. I hate this. This part, this interaction for me is not good, so what I'll do is just throw this all the way on the bottom. That didn't help. I'm an idiot. Kind of like where the 3 is at, but I'm having a strange feeling like I need to move it somewhere else. Because one part of me kind of really enjoys it kind of being kind of tiny, and there's another part of me that really wants to make it like super big and put it right in the middle, but then it just kind of feels like a random block of blue. So if I offset it just a tiny bit, it still feels like a random block of blue. I don't really get a 3. Now, is it the font's problem? Don't know if it's this, but something like this could be good. Or I could go this route because it's kind of like, you know, collegiate in some kind of way. I like the width of Srita, but I like the serif here. Oh, that's hard. Maybe there's a universe where I'm focus too heavily on the position of the 3, where I have a lot of other assets that I could move for a better way to let things fit. I do like the greenie, so I'm gonna see if I can find some trees too. Like, does this help? I feel like it does make it feel more lively in some regard. So if it helps a little bit, it helps a little bit. But I was moving this over here for a second. So I'm gonna use it to my liking, and I'm also gonna fix this as well, these random lines. I'm telling you, if you're out there and you're designing right now while watching this video, please, for the love of God, go double check your PNGs or your assets and make sure they're cut out right, okay? This blue I might change a little bit to be a little more darker, but I'll match the same, at least the pigment color. I'll just lower that. This feels like I need to do something here. So I need to like have some form of shadow happening. Do think I can do a drop shadow. Now the drop shadow looks ugly when I feel like in this context here. I just hate drop shadow. For some reason, I've always thought drop shadow was like the quick fix to a design fundamental problem. In this world, it feels like a jersey's like what's the word I want to use? Like a jersey text effect in some way. Like if I was on the like the back of a jersey, this could be kind of nice. If I go out now, what's happening? That feels pretty good. The shadow is another thing, right? I don't love this shadow, but I also don't love this 3D text, but I also don't feel like going into Cinema 4D. There's something still like super wrong with this text down here. Now, obviously I put the shadow back, but before I do that, I just wonder if there's anything I can do with the curves in order to make this feel a lot more evenly rendered. Now we're losing some shadow, but I think that's an okay thing. This is a little bit dystopian. This is now a little bit too close. So I need to find the happy medium. Or does that look better if I do this? Hold up. The shadow work here is actually not that bad. I might just it doesn't need too much. I might just blur it just a tiny bit. I'm gonna go right up to the edge here and just add in this bottom part to be a little darker, okay? I'm gonna make a new layer below everything. I go like this, just like so. And this is what I'm gonna call grounding. Now the trick is really, it's not go too far out. This is already too far out. I'm actually gonna reset. We're gonna go pretty close to the floor, right? So you can see without this, with this. But then I'm gonna go in with another shadow brush. So one more click. I'm just gonna start painting in where I feel like the shadow definitely could be. Any of these spots over here, of course, will be a little bit darker. And now last but not least, I think I'll just probably take a nice regular brush, or this one. I'm gonna take it, rotate it. It's okay if you call it out in the comments. I'm just curious, was it you that I just taught that this UI here is not for fun? Just saying. I'm gonna rotate it a tiny bit so it kind of fits the angle a little bit. And I'm gonna say, that feels good. Just for the sake of saying I did something with this sign, I'm gonna do something with this sign. We're gonna highlight this all, do a nice little generative fill to get rid of it. Yo, why is generative fill just not working for me? Okay, you know what? I'll do the old fashioned way. Content aware fill, and then basically get rid of all of this, especially all of this. Now I'll press OK, and bang, right? See, when you gotta know your stuff. If all else fails, you were stuck. Me, I'm good. And I feel like the obvious thing to put here is 7 Sixers. I'm gonna say B-ball, no, NBA road. I think I wanna do a little bit of carving into these clouds here to give it a little more density in some formats, some way. So a nice darker blue 3 gradient hit. You know what? Make this a perfect final touch. We're just gonna toss this bad boy right here somewhere. And I can't help myself. The name might be low-key too much. Not if I use that gold though. It does feel so incredibly random. I don't think it's necessary. Okay, I got one more thing. And it's a theme of the video, I think, today. Just need some birds. We'll take that. All right. Let's call it chalked. Okay, let's call that where that is. And let's go ahead and throw up the before and after with my design and then 4D design, just kind of see where we went. The thing that kind of worried me the most is kind of like the lack of the idea of nature and livelihood of the city. Felt a little low vibe, like just moody. Granted, that could be the exact kind of feeling that this person actually wanted on their design, and I went with a completely different direction. But of course, for the redesign, I wanted to highlight the atmosphere, the life and the city and the cityscape, and use it as the actual emphasis to make it feel bigger than life. So you have this really cool Iverson 3D text with him sitting on top of it with like all the cityscapes, City Hall and whatnot in the background of Philadelphia. And it kind of felt as if he was just grounded more towards the city and give it some more life. Naturally, I did use the 76 logo to kind of help out with some balancing of color. Took the text that he did and also kind of added some curves into there so that, you know, it kind of matched the buildings a little bit more. So with that, I still think 4D design was honestly really cool. That's honestly why I chose it. I kind of just wanted to touch it and make it my own in some way. And hopefully along the way, you guys actually learned something and had some fun too with either this design or the last design. But hopefully you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to leave a like on the video if you guys did. Comment down below something you learned. If not, you had some fun. Hopefully, you know, are you designing right now at this very moment in time? I'm just curious. Just let me know if you're designing right now then. So yeah, if you guys want to see me do more redesigning your posters, your sports posters, making them better, let me know. But with that being said, Seso HQ out. Do not forget to keep smiling, stay positive, and stay freaking productive, guys. Later, much love, peace, and enjoy your day.